Call this meeting.
Okay.
Rob, you got it?
I bet you'll listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting to order today for our Thursday, April 14th, 2022 meeting. Welcome everybody here today. Everybody that's in the courtroom and anybody that's in the virtual world. And our first item on our agenda today is Pastor Lee Farmer. Would you give the indication, please?
Right, gracious God, thank you for the opportunity to be part of such an amazing community. We thank you for our board of supervisors as they meet tonight. Lord, we pray that you'll give guidance, patience as they conduct our business. Father, our world is in a mess. We need you. We need your direction, peace, encouragement. We need lots of compassion.
Yes.
Guide us now, we pray. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, next is the Pledge of Allegiance. All stand, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our next item is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any board member have anything?
I'm moving that we approve. If not,
Okay, hold on one second, Mr. Long. Mr. Tadlock, you haven't changed?
I do not have any changes.
All right. All right, Mr. Long, you made your motion. Have a second?
Second. Third.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. And we have 4 sets of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? The March 10th, 2022 minutes of our joint meeting with the school board. Then we have a regular board meeting on the 10th, also March the 16th and March the 24th. You want to approve them as a whole or approve them separately?
I move we approve them as a whole.
All right.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And next would be a resolution for Trey Felton. And Mr. Basie, would you mind reading that, sir?
Whereas on March 26, 2022, Trey Felton of Northumberland Middle School won the Richmond Times-Dispatch 47th Annual Regional Spelling Bee. Whereas 13-year-old Trey Felton had previously competed in the Richmond Times-Dispatch Regional Spelling Bee when he was in the 5th grade. And whereas Mr. Felton has worked tirelessly, spending an hour a day reading and studying the spelling of words to prepare for the competition. And whereas 4 out of 6 finalists were eliminated in the first round of the Regional Spelling Bee. Whereas Mr. Felton won an additional 55 rounds with this opponent, lasting over 2 hours, and now qualifies to compete in the Scripps National Spelling Bee in June, located in the Washington, D.C. area. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors hereby commends Trey Felton on such a great accomplishment and wishes him the best of luck when competing in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. And be it further resolved that this resolution is hereby adopted on this day, April 14th, 2022.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is Mr. Felton here today?
Yes, it is.
Come on up, Mr. Felton.
Be nice if his parents come up too. Any parents? can come up too. Yeah, fantastic.
All right. Mr. Felton, great honor and privilege to give you this. I know you've done a whole lot of work to get as far as you have. And I'm very pleased that you've done it. Congratulations.
All right, hey, y'all. That's all right.
All right, and next is, it's Child Abuse Prevention Month. And Mr. Basie, I'll let you take care of that one also.
Right. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a common problem in the community, where preventing such behavior lies in active involvement among people. And whereas child maltreatment often occurs when individuals find themselves in stressful situations and not having the necessary knowledge on how to cope due to lack of community resources. Whereas the majority of child abuse cases stems from conditions and circumstances that are preventable when part of an engaged and supportive community. And whereas all citizens should strive to become more involved in supportive families to better raise their children by creating a safe and nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, the business community, and the citizens of Northumberland County. Now, therefore, the Board of Supervisors do hereby recognize April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Northumberland County. We call this observance to the attention of all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live.
All right. Have a motion?
Second.
All right, have a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone here today?
Don't.
Come on up, please.
That's right. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is Telecommunications Week. And Mr. Basie, I'll let you do another one.
Don't get hoarse.
Whereas the Congress of the United States and the President of the United States have established the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. And whereas emergencies occur around the clock that often require police, fire, and emergency medical services. And whereas an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service personnel is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the initial contact to our residents in need and represent a vital link to our police officers and firefighters portrayed through monitoring their activities, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas the public safety dispatchers are more than a calm and reassuring voice on the other end of the phone, that they are the unseen first responders who are knowledgeable and highly trained individuals working closely with other police, fire, and medical personnel. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during their performance of their position, and whereas public safety dispatchers daily serve the public in countless ways without recognition by the beneficiaries of their service. Be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022, be known as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Northumberland County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe.
All right, so moved. All right, have a motion, have a second? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone here tonight?
Sheriff.
Johnny? Really appreciate everything you did in that sheriff's office, in that dispatch, you know, that's your back. That's you, leaving, we wouldn't have anything.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. All right, our next item would be the National Library Workers' Day. And Mr. Basie, I'll let you do that one also.
All right. Whereas libraries equal strong communities and provide millions of people with the knowledge and information they need to live, learn, and work in the 21st century. whereas there are thousands of academic, governmental, public, school, and specialized libraries in the United States that provide excellent and valuable service to library users regardless of age, ethnicity, and socioeconomic background. Whereas librarians and library support staff bring the nation a world of knowledge in person and online, as well as personal service and expert assistance in finding what is needed when it is needed. Whereas it is important to recognize the unique contributions of all library workers and the value to individuals and society of those contributions. Whereas a steady stream of recruits to library work is necessary to maintain the vitality of library services in today's information society. Whereas libraries, library workers, and library supporters across America are celebrating National Library Workers' Day sponsored by the American Library Association and Allied Professional Association. Therefore, be it resolved that Northumberland County proclaim Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 as National Library Workers' Day and encourage all in our community to take advantage of the variety of library resources available, as well as thank library workers for their exceptional contributions to American life.
Move it was approved. Second.
All right, motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Blue, are you here?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your service down there. And we really appreciate the library. We just kind of needed a long time before we got it. But you did a very good job. Thank all of you. All right. Thank you. All right, next we have a resolution for Mid-County Voluntary Rescue Squad. Mr. Basie, unless you do one more.
All right. Whereas the Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad began in 1987 by adopting the first set of bylaws, and whereas Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad covers approximately 70 square miles with 2,093 structures in and around the Heathville area, and whereas Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad operates 2 ambulances, a quick response vehicle, and average in excess of 300 calls per year, and whereas Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad has 25 members, including 10 emergency medical technicians. Now therefore be resolved that Northumberland County Board of Supervisors does hereby express their sincere appreciation to the many volunteers and congratulates Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad on its 35th anniversary. And be it finally resolved that this resolution be given to Mid-County Volunteer Rescue Squad and commend them on being an essential part of Northumberland County's first responders.
All right,
So moved.
all right. I have a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. See, we have some members here from Mid-County.
You get them all to come up round up there.
Yeah, like all of them come up, please.
Hey, Madge. How you doing, hon? Ready? Good seeing you. Thank you. Hey, what are you doing? I know.
So I'd like to thank the Mid-County Rescue Squad for all the service that they've done over the years. They're an asset to this county. We don't want to lose it. We want to keep on running this call. You never know when you're gonna need it. And I'd like to thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, our next item is an update from Virginia Department of Transportation. Mr. Beal?
good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Basie, you want to give my report?
No, I'm good.
All right, we've been busy, picked up litter on various routes, slope repairs and ditch cleaning on several roads. We had some brush cutting we did, and we've been addressing work orders and patching potholes countywide. We have a pipe truck scheduled the next couple of weeks. We're going to focus on cleaning pipes, cutting brush, and continuing to patch potholes and address work orders. I added the pavement schedule routes to your report. You can see there are a lot of surface treatment routes. That's a big schedule for the county. That is not under construction yet. They're going to start in Richmond County next week, and then they'll probably move to Lancaster and make their way into Northumberland after that. So it may be into the summer before you see them working. Cape Seal, just a reminder, Cape Seal is a two-step process. I understand they've completed the first step on Louisetta, which is the chip seal that goes down first. That'll set up for a couple weeks, and then they come back with the slurry seal to fill in all those cracks and smooth out the road a little bit. The plant mix schedule is also under construction. They're starting down on Remo and Home Neck with some line eradication. So you'll see some activity down there very soon. Secondary 6-year plan, I did move up Clarktown Road to this year. It was 2023. So we plan to hard surface that this summer. And Addie's Point is still in 26. And then we do have 3 projects for the scour repair that we've been tracking for a while. Those are moving along. Route 604 and 605 are going to add in August. So I'd expect construction to begin on those 2 this fall. We're still waiting on an environmental permit for 601. And just to clear up any confusion, next week you'll see an advertisement for a notice of willingness to hold a public hearing for these projects, or for 604 and 605. And in that advertisement, it'll say the road will be closed for 4 to 6 weeks. And that is really just out of an abundance of caution in case we get a lot of weather or something that gives us setback during construction. We really don't anticipate that construction lasting more than a couple weeks. So those roads will be closed, and there'll be a detour in place for that construction. I did reach out to Dr. Wargo today. I have not heard back from her yet, just to let her know that the school buses may be impacted this fall. That's everything on my report. If you all have any questions for me, I'd be happy to take them.
All right, any board members have any questions for Mr. Beal?
Yes, on, right at the beginning of 609, soon as you turn in that road, from going to Lancaster, water stands there, right, as soon as you turn on that road. Like for you to check and see what you can do as far as,
Is it on the pavement or on the ditch?
on the ditch.
Okay.
So most of it in the ditch. Also, on Light Street. It's, water in the ditch, man, comes out of the road. So I'd like for you to check that area and see what you can do.
Do you know about where on Light Street?
Yes, if you're coming from, Beachville, as soon as you make the turn, left turn, go down by the, under feet. You see
Okay.
it on- see it on the left.
All right, check on it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Bryan, you have anything?
No.
Tom?
Yeah, I got several. Would you look into the possibility on, right there on Jesse DuPont 200, as it comes into Burgess, look at whether you need to have a reduction in speed there from the current 45 to 35, because once you get on Northumberland Highway, you got a 35 zone, and somebody's thinking it's a 45 they could, not gonna say Johnny will write a ticket, but somebody may not know it's actually 35 in that section there.
Okay.
All right. What about the work underneath 360 between Honeck and London's Road? When does that might start?
That contract was advertised and is in the process of being awarded.
Okay.
So as soon as we get them on board, that's actually number two. I got a higher priority in Westmoreland I got to get them to do, but if they can give us 2 crews, we have the funding for both of them. We're ready to go. Just got to get the contractor on board.
And when you do some of your plant mix, especially on Northumberland Highway, I hope your flagging crews are better trained this year than they were last year. Because they were, to put it mildly, that was, I use the word embarrassment. So, I mean, it's,
I'm hoping for less complaints this season, but it is the same contract.
I understand. I understand low bids, sometimes you get what you get too. But I'm gonna do everything I can to help you keep from having complaints, and then the sheriff's up to complaints too. So, and that obviously will be a major transportation road for fire rescue and police going up down there to the local places. And that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Jeff, got anything?
No, I think I've already told him what I had.
All right, I don't have anything. Mr. Tadlock, you have anything you want to add?
I do not.
All right,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
can I speak for a moment since we have a gentleman here?
yes, you can.
Thank you. So I've asked before consideration from the area between Food Line or Beacon Eastville to the academic lane. It's 35, 25, 35 in front of the Food Line, and it goes to 55 for approximately 175. I don't know. I'm not gonna, it's maybe 200 yards, guys, 2 football fields maybe. And then we get into the area of Clairville, which is a very, very congested area, particularly that time of day in the morning. The school is letting is kids coming to school buses. I know personally 3 accidents, just one with my family. There at that Clairville intersection. To me, and only during the school year, only during the school is in, if that's any way possible for public transportation to do, to reduce that, not go to the 55, or at least reduce it to 45, because it's 55 miles an hour. And all of a sudden you have to jam up on 15 or 25 miles an hour school zone, and then it breaks into 55. If you could extend it past the school to 55 during school time, I think it would be a very safety-oriented decision from the county's perspective. And I know that my wife's involved both peaks there, and it's really hard to get out of there along the point road. It's a very congested area. It's not getting any less congested with the new Napa there, I've noticed. So just consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
All right, we'll look into it.
look into it, Mr. Booth. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Booth, thank you.
All right, thank you all. Happy Easter.
You did.
All right, we have Sheriff Beecham. We have an update from the radio committee.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. The committee has received all the proposals from L3 Harris, and I believe you have a copy of that. I've talked with Mr. Tadlock about having a special meeting with the board after your regular May meeting. This meeting is probably going to take a while. And also to give enough time for the representative from L3 Harris and the regional radio system administrator to be present to answer questions as well. So we tentatively talked about the 18th, but we just threw that out there because the committee is open on Wednesday nights. So that's where we are.
All right. Any board member have any comments for Sheriff Beecham? You're talking about the 18th of this
May.
month? May.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Tadlock? board members, 18th, all right with everybody?
What time?
What time you want us to do it? Five, 5:30? Let's see, 18th of May.
That time frame's fine with me.
5:30.
Yes, sir, that's fine with me.
All right, is that all right for everybody? All right,
Got a calendar, eh?
it's just calendar, I hadn't really heard from him.
That's Wednesday, right?
Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Tadlock, that all right with you?
5:30.
18th at 5:30. All right, we will plan on meeting you, Sheriff Beecham, May 18th, 5:30.
Okay.
We'll meet right here.
Sounds good. I'll get everybody rounded up and have them here.
Okay, good enough. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right. The next item is an update from the Northumberland County Public Schools. We have anyone here tonight would like to speak from the school system?
There is no update. Needs to be District 3. There is no update.
I can hardly hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, he can. That's what happened.
Denise Mazik, District 3, School Board Member. At this time, we have no update. Know that you have received a report from Dr. Wargo. Are there any questions?
When is graduation?
When is graduation?
Yes.
Let me get back to you once I get to my phone, and I'll let you know. I didn't bring that right there with me. But I'm not gonna call it, because I know I'll probably say the wrong date. Let me get and confirm it. I'll get it to you.
Someone here asked.
It's on, I believe it's on your report, though, towards the bottom.
Mr. Long, you have anything else?
Not at this time.
Mr. Brand? Mr. Tomlin?
Nope.
Mr. Jett?
No, sir.
All right.
Thank
Tadlock,
you.
you have anything?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, our next item on the agenda is the county administrator's report. And I'll turn that over to Mr. Tadlock.
For the month of March, we had a total of 9 new structures. Total construction costs for the month, $8.2 million. Total construction costs year-to-date, $16.9 million, which puts us up about $4.9 million above this time last year. Next item I have is need a motion to approve the reappointment of Bruce Craig for the Bay Aging Board.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Craig.
Next, Mr. Al Fisher's appointment for the Planning Commission. His term is up for a reappointment. I would need that position reappointed.
All right, so moved on that. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
I have several supplemental appropriations I need the board to take action on. The first one is in the amount of $208,640, transferring funds from the EMS billing account to the EMS department. Line item 3203, 7005 for the ambulance.
So move. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Next one I have is for $630 for reimbursement of ball games at the school to budget line item 3102, 1006.
So move.
All right, we have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, All those in favor say aye.
Next one I have is to line item 3203, 3012, in the amount of $1,972.14 for a VACORP reimbursement for damage due to a deer strike.
So moved. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Next item, we've received a letter from the schools for supplemental appropriation requesting for the ESSER funds, ESSER two funds, HVAC grant, unfinished learning grant, before and after school total grant, and summer learning.
All right, board members have any comments?
The ESSER two total is $1,550,184.97. ESSER three totals $3,483,967.77. HVAC grant totals $240,975. Unfinished learning total $576,274.94. Before and after school total $100,000, and summer learning $139,379.30. Board have any questions, or if you have any other information you'd like me to obtain from the school division, I can also follow up with them.
Yes, I'm a little confused on the ESSER two and ESSER three funds. I thought that the roof repairs for $860,000 was taken care of in the CARES fund. But yet it's on the ESSER three fund application. Same for the fire pump.
That's something that we could ask Dr. Wargo or Mr. Bellows for
And
clarification. Let's see if they could.
And I
come to the
guess,
next meeting.
clarification on, and I know people don't work for nothing, I understand that. But, the after-school tutors, that's $80,640. And, we got one in here for $279,000 for teachers and support staff. It really doesn't, unless I'm misreading it, it really doesn't state what it's for. And I guess why I'm confused, we have a line item in there where we fund salaries. Where's this additional money going, I guess, is what I want to know. And just something else that popped out at me, is that it's got 3 interim part-time tutors for 2 years, $54,000. It's got 4 full-time paraprofessionals for 2 years in mathematics. Then we got 2 special education teachers for 2 years, and it's got other. My concern is after these funds run out, where is the money going to come from to support these positions? And I may be looking at it completely backwards. And I guess also, and looking through on the ESSER three, and I'm just looking at, some of the line items under ESSER three. It's got COVID premium pay for staff, $208,773. Then we're looking back at, again, the roof repairs are back in there again under ESSER three and the fire pump. And clarification on the new building. It's got school board / JROTC / athletic facility. What is the building going to be? Is it a, you know, a building that's going to be used for all three or what have you? And I guess what I'm getting at is that I'm looking at some of the school CIP requests. And I'd like to see, you know, the CIP requests. We need to take a hard look at that because there's no money in the school budget for CIP at this time. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So if we need to fund CIP, we need to look at some of those funds to keep up the buildings and the grounds and what we already have. And that's just my opinion. I don't know how the rest of the board feels on that, but that's the only thing on this report that jumped out at me.
Hopefully in the future, that we can have, the superintendent, someone, attend meetings that can, explain this stuff.
And I agree, Mr. Long, because when I look at something in here that has a roof light, and I understand what a roof light is, but it's got $20,000. Doors, and I'm using an example, it could be another 20. I know that it's not $20,000 right to the penny. You know, what is the procurement process? What is, you know, is it going in for bid? You know, I'd like to have a better view of what it is. I mean, I could do a budget and I can put in a budget, a box of widgets and put $50,000 by it, but really not painting a clear picture on what it actually is or what the actual cost is. And my concern is too, we've been spoiled kind of in the last couple of years with CARES money, ESSER 2 money, ESSER 3. And when all of that's gone, we're going to come back to reality because it's all going to come back to local funding. So I think we need to take a hard look at this and get a grip on what we got going on and let's maintain what we got before we get in over our heads.
Not all, most of it's gonna come back to local funds.
Yes, sir. Yes. But we won't have any more money coming in from the government that I'm aware of. And I think we need to prepare for that. I mean, that's really spoiled us for the last couple of years.
Frankly, I share some of Mr. Brand's concerns. One, I'd like an accounting on what's already been spent on the CARES. So there is, in my opinion, some duplication going on here, or if not, are we having a continued tail on funding that's already been like the hotspots? We spent a lot of, the county gave some money for hotspots, and I say service, but that's number one. I'd like to see an accounting of what was spent under the CARES money to date. And then, assuming this entire request was granted, how much money would be left over, if any, in CARES, ESSER 2, 3, or whatever? And the last question is, I want to know whether the school board / JROTC athletic facility, whether the contract has been signed or not. I see where Con America has been contacted, but I don't know if there's a contract for it. I'd like to know the status of that with them, whatever. And I agree with, I would like to see the superintendent present so we can have the appropriate dialogue.
Anything else?
That's enough.
Mr. Jett?
No, I agree with a lot of what Tom and Jimmy said. It's a lot of questions to be answered.
All right. Well, if you look at the school's CIP plan, they have over $2 million in items that they want the county to fund, yet they have no money for it. The accounting on the CARES Act money needs to be brought up to date. We need to see it. We need a lot of accounting done. There's a very lack of information coming from the school board. You ask questions and you do not receive answers. So my request in the form of a motion is, if it's okay with the board, on the 28th of April, we have a joint meeting with the school board, the superintendent, and Jason Bellows to discuss all of these items. And that meeting will start at 5:30.
Well, what
That form of a motion?
It's in the form of a motion. I'm waiting for a second. Any discussion?
On the 28th?
On the 28th.
Bad day. Bad day. 28th of April. Bad day. We should have threw out some dates instead of you. We should have threw out some dates instead of you just targeting that date.
All right, May the 5th also. That's 2 dates, 28th, April the 28th, or May the 5th.
May the 5th is good.
Is that okay with everybody? All right,
May 5th, 5:30.
5:30. All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one more question. The CARES money, as I recall, at least the county's money, we had to spend it all by December the 30th, 2021. But I see some CARES money listed here. Did the schools have a different spend by date?
That I don't know. Mr.
That's what I'd
Tadlock?
like to find out, because otherwise we can't label it as CARES money.
That is correct. As far as the county's,
Yeah.
CARES monies, we did have to expend those
Yeah.
funds by the end of December
But did
2021.
the schools have a different spend by date?
We'd have to check on that.
Yeah. And then you try to spend money that's not there.
All right. Tadlock, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, we'll follow up with the school division on those. Next item I have is related to the broadband VATI grant. As discussed with the board previously, the county had submitted a joint application with Lancaster and King George for additional VATI monies for those areas not covered. We did receive those funds, and it was a commitment to the county of the $325,000 that was already committed for the first part of the All Points project. And these monies are tied to the second phase of the contribution of this part of the project. So there are no additional monies required by the county. In order to get under contract with DHCD for the VATI funds, we do have the fiscal agent agreement that was sent to us by the Northern Neck Planning District Commission. And in order to move forward, I would just need the board's authorization to sign that agreement.
So move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
The board has been presented with a draft bid for the dehumidification system for the new courts building. We sent that out previously. Does the board have any specific questions? Or would it be okay to move forward in advertising that bid?
And board members have any questions?
You need a motion to that effect?
That'll be fine.
So
Yes,
move.
All right,
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Hope everyone's read all down through all the fine print down there.
I can read the fine print, but I can't say I understand fine print now.
I think it's been covered pretty decent. Pretty decent.
My fine print does not go to HVAC, I can tell you.
Now, I've
It's
been,
supposed to come on, heat and cool, that's what I know.
I've read this quite a few times. And I hope nothing's been missed. But you know, you always have that feeling in the back of your mind you missed something. But I think staff's done a good job getting all this together. All right, we have a motion and a second. No other discussion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. There you go, Mr. Tadlock.
Great, thank you. Next item I have is, last month I had brought up the fact that the Geocom dispatching mapping maintenance support was coming to an end in October of this year. We would like to move forward with the upgrades of the equipment and software. And the current estimate for the annual maintenance is going to be $9,123 annually over the next 5 years. So a total of $45,615 over the life of that maintenance agreement. It will take them 60 to 90 days to install the new software and do the upgrades.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board? Any questions? All right, no question?
If we wanted to bow out of this, we have the ability to do so? Or are we locking ourselves in though?
As far as after you, well, if you don't approve this, of course, the sheriff's office dispatch would need a different mapping program.
I understand that.
But as far as termination, I don't know. I'll give you a chance to. Yeah, we can take a look at it and come back to that item.
And you need to have some language that it be subject to annual appropriation. Because we can't bind, one board can't bind another board. This way.
All right. We'll get back with the board on that. The next item I do have is the waste management contract expires June 30th of 2023. That contract requires us to notify waste management within 1 year of the expiration date if we do not intend to renew that contract. Previously, Richmond and Northumberland counties have procured that service together. And since 1998, we have renewed that contract every 5 years. After discussion with the Richmond County Administrator, we have discussed the need to go ahead and put that back out for bid. It may come back that we ultimately go back with waste management, but after the RFP or the bidding process. But my recommendation to the board is to notify waste management that we are planning on going through the bidding process.
I think that's the right thing to do because we having a lot of problems with waste management. Especially the horses, it's like, they're pulling, like I talked to you about, they're pulling without a full container. Right? That's been reported several times. And that means they're cheating people out of tax money. So that really needs, that's a big concern, especially at that site. I've had many calls.
It's light loads, but then it's also not dumping it as much as they should, because especially here in the horse head, it's been closed at 2 o'clock on Sunday, right? That's happened several times, right? And I can personally speak to one. And it's just, the light loads, the differences in service that we're receiving versus the middle peninsula counties is different. And we gotta, if it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for us. You know, what Snippy say, Palmasudno, 1,500 pounds versus 2,500 pounds ram. If they got it down here, they need it here, because last thing we want is some other head of county who has no property interest in this county, bringing their stuff to Northumberland County because they're trying to in-run the other county. So we got to do some negotiation with them or whoever else might be willing to come in.
You need a motion or anything, Mr. Tadlock?
If I could get a motion to go ahead and send the letter of the intent to bid that.
So moved. Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
I don't think David, Mr. Woolridge's not here tonight, but, I did send a video earlier to the board of the time lapse of the installation of the tanks down to Reedville. So that progress, that project is progressing along. If you have any questions on that, we can certainly get those, questions answered for you.
One thing I have to say, Mr. Tadlock, if you can only get work done that fast.
That's right.
1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, all that done in one and 2 minutes,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Just getting them on site sometimes is a challenge.
Yes, it is.
I'm a plan.
Next item I have is I'd like to start setting some dates for the budget, for the school budget and the county budget, to start discussing those items.
What month were you thinking about?
I mean, we can start as early as next week, if the board would like.
Next
Um,
week?
What dates are you looking at, Mr. Tadlock?
The 20th,
20th?
20th?
That's a Wednesday?
so it's next Wednesday. Planning Commission meets that Thursday, so I was trying to stay away from that.
5:30? Early.
5:30,
5:30 is fine.
whichever's convenient for the board.
Doing everything else 5:30.
5:30? On the 20th.
What date was that one on?
20th.
20th? That's, what, a Wednesday?
That's a Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Is that all right for everybody?
Yep.
Any other date you need now?
We'll start with that one and see where we need to go
All right.
after that meeting.
All right, Mr. Tadlock. Any other thing you have, Mr. Tadlock?
Last thing I had was the geocom thing, but I'm not sure if that's, yeah, we're gonna hold off on that for the time being.
Okay. All right, if you don't have anything else, Mr. Tadlock?
No, sir.
All right, our next item on the agenda is approval of the check register. Everybody had a chance to review the check register?
Yeah, I move that we approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right, our next item is board comments, and we'll start with Mr. Long.
Well, my biggest comment was, convenience sites. We're putting it up for bid, so hopefully, we can see some improvement. That's the only thing I have.
All right. Mr. Brand?
Yes, last month, I put in a request that we had a citizen come before us, had some concerns about how the school budget was prepared, and I'd asked for some information back from the county attorney. And, we got some information, but to be honest, I mean, I'm still not clear. You quoted the codes and all of that, and I guess where I'm at with it is, yes, the budget is correct. No, the budget is not correct, and what needs to be done to make it correct.
Gregory, would you comment on that?
Well, because I can read that code all day long. And I can read it, and someone else can read it, and we can get several different interpretations of it. I'm just looking at you for clarification, so we can have that settled, that matter settled.
Right, well, thank you, Mr. Brand. The code section which delineates the requirements for the county budget doesn't necessarily correlate directly and impose those same requirements upon the school board. Okay, there's different requirements that are
Right.
governed by different code provisions. So their estimate of financial needs for the coming fiscal year is what they submit to the county is not necessarily defined in code as a budget in terms of what the county does. They're not the same things. Now, you can always ask the school division or the school board rather to present additional information or to categorize. They're required to submit the estimate in categories, as you know. So as long as it's submitted in the categories that they're required to show, then that's compliant with the code. You can always ask them for additional information or for further breakdowns of those categories or breakdowns of their estimates for different things through the budgetary process. But the 15.2, I believe it's 15.2, 25, 08 or 2504, those specific categories saying the requirements that say the county administrator has to present with the expenditures that were from last year, the actual expenditures, the proposed expenditures from last year, the actual expenditures from last year, what they propose for next year, and those budgetary columns, if you will, that's not the form that the school board is required to present their budget in. Okay, does that make sense? They are required to submit information about their needs, but that it doesn't have to be in that precise form.
And I guess the only other thing I have is we really missed one whole component of what citizen also requested. She requested at least 5 years of expenditures, if I'm correct, from the school. So we need to see if we can't get that to meet that request as well.
Are you directing that?
Oh, no, I'm
question?
just talking.
I mean, if you want my input on that, I'd suggest that she contact her school board representative for that information, and I think that's the direct line for accountability there, if you ask me. But that's between the school board and their constituents. Okay.
I'm done.
All right, Mr. Gregory, while we're on that, so
Sir.
which section of the code does apply to the school? Is it the 15.2-2500?
Well, in my view, the school division is governed by Title 22.1 of the Code of Virginia, and that sets forth the requirements that they, as I mentioned in my memo to you, that they're required to submit an annual report of expenditures under 22.1-90. And then under 22.1-92, they're required to submit an estimate of monies needed for the public schools. And that's essentially what their budget is, the estimate of monies needed to support the public school system. Under 22.93, that provides for the approval process of the governing body, the Board of Supervisors goes through. And then the accounting is, they have to provide for a modern system of accounting, which they're expected to account for everything they receive from the county and all other sources, including the state, federal grants, the ESSER funds, if you will. All those have to be accounted for in a modern system of accounting, which I trust they do, and they have to provide that accounting in major classifications. Those major classifications are instruction, administration, attendance and health, people transportation, operation and maintenance, school food services and other non-instructional operations, facilities, debt and fund transfers, technology, and contingency reserves. Those are how the school division's finances are governed under state code. And the county is governed under Title 15.2, as you know. So those two different applicable code sections. Now, there is a lot of interplay there, naturally, but they're two different kind of schemes.
All right, so county is 15.2.
Right.
And yet, when I read in here on 15.2-2500, it says uniform fiscal year for all localities and school divisions. That's why it's confusing to me.
Yeah, the fiscal year's the same.
Yeah. But doesn't that entire code section deal with both the school and the locality?
What code section are you talking?
Chapter 25, 15.2-2500,
Yeah.
2501, 2502, 03, 04. That's why it's confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly, it just says that just refers to the fiscal year. It just
Yeah,
sets the
fiscal
fiscal
year,
year as
yeah.
July
I
1 to
understand,
June
yeah.
30.
But that does take care of both localities and schools.
For that purpose, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to get it
Well, like I s-
clarified so I can understand it a little bit more.
Right, well, like I said, there is some interplay between those two titles insofar as the schools are within a part of the county government. So there is some interplay there, but the school division is distinctly governed by that title, and then the county is governed by the other title. But yeah, of course, there is some interplay there.
Okay. All right. Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, I have three things. Number one, I'd request that the September regular Board of Supervisors meeting be changed. The reason being is, we had planned to be on a cruise at the end of October, but then we got news that we are expected to be grandparents on October the 31st. So I'd like to be here when, obviously I'm gonna be a grandparent. So we moved their cruise up to the time covering the normal meeting, because that's the only one that fit our schedule, even though it interfered with it. So whichever, the week before or week after, it works, or the other time. It's just that week of from Labor Day to that Saturday.
What month is that, Tom?
What's that?
What month you said?
September. And do the week before, week after, it's just that week I'll be on a boat.
Normal meeting's on the 8th of September.
That's right.
So you want to move it either a week before or a week after.
Yeah,
The
whatever.
planning commission's on the 15th.
I know. You can do it a different, whatever day works for everybody else.
What time is the planning meeting?
Planning commission is 7 o'clock.
We won't be through. You can't plan on that.
You won't be done by 7 o'clock.
So we're saying the 15th or the 1st, right?
Or you could do another day. I'm just, whatever works for everybody else's schedule.
First works for me. I don't know about the rest of it.
Anyone have any ideas? Ms. Tadlock, you have any ideas?
Yeah, I was just looking at the calendar, and actually either one of those, the 1st or the 15th, other than the planning commission would work. I'm not sure if Mr. McKenzie would have anything, and then Mr. Haney, you would have a conflict.
Can we do it the 14th then?
Huh?
14th is a Wednesday.
That's fine. I would say the 1st Thursday for me. September the 1st. That's first Thursday.
It's pleasure of the board.
Just stole your mind.
First, 14th, I've heard the 1st from Mr. Long, and the 14th from Mr. Chet. So what's the pleasure of the board?
What now?
You said 14th.
Yeah, I mean, I just,
Oh,
what was the other date you said?
the 1st. 1st and the 14th. There's two choices so far.
I don't really care. Let's go with the first.
All right? Satisfactory, everybody? You need that in a motion, or you just,
Yes, he needs them up.
all right,
I'll make the motion since I'm requesting it.
all right. You got a second? I got a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
We'll get that advertised.
Thanks to everybody.
Yep.
The,
Welcome.
5:30 on the 1st, right?
5:30 on the first.
And congratulations, thank you, well, it's to be. Two other things, this is a request, that doesn't have to be immediate. I'd like to have an inventory of all county-owned property, meaning real estate. Showing the value of the property, the real estate value, basically take what we get from the commissioner but also show, we've got a lot of land, are we knowing what we possibly using it for? Some things may see about disposing it or using for other, come up with a plan for the property. And also to know what we have.
I agree with that. I like that request because, we need to use it. I like to see us get a park. Huh? One of the places we have now, Mr. Lutcher, I know, we discussed that, we have, for people in Northumberland, surrounding counties that go to, recreation. What's the one, can't even think of it. What's the one we discussed about a year or two ago when one or two of the citizens came to us and speaking on it, asking us, could we, clean it up or do something?
I think that was Vermont, but that's being cleaned, yeah.
What's that, Tommy?
I think that was Vermont Beach, but that's being cleaned, or supposed to be. But just all our various parcels that we have, we might be surprised by what we own and some things that might be able to somehow be used by the county for the citizens' benefit or possibly disposing of it and get it back on the tax roll.
You saying Vermont?
That Vermont Beach was one of them.
Okay, is that being taken care of, the part that we
Yes,
supposed to take care of?
We haven't heard anything since.
Huh?
We have not heard anything since. The last thing I have is, since the General Assembly hasn't approved the budget, which also impacts how much money we get, well, one of the items for discussion is the elimination of the grocery tax, which by and of itself doesn't sound, it has an impact. But coupled within that is the 1% the counties get. And how, if they eliminated the county's portion, because that's hung up on the Senate side, the House wants to limit everything. How much would the county lose if that 1% was eliminated? And for the tax implications for your budget? And any implications does for the school board budget that runs through that too.
Yeah, we'll get that information.
It's probably out there somewhere, but I haven't seen it. And that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Jett? I don't have anything else. All right. Tadlock, you don't have anything to add to anything, do you?
No, sir.
All right. The next item is to convene into a closed meeting. Do we have time now or?
Mr. Haynes, the answer to graduation is May 21.
May 21, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
What time is that? Oh, okay. I won't ask you, I won't.
We got a meeting or two before then, so.
Okay, that's all right. I won't put you on the spot on that. May 21. Okay, that's good.
Wait.
Thank you.
The several items that I have, would not take too long. There is that one matter that may take a little bit longer, so I'm not
All
sure.
right, well, why don't we wait till after public hearing tonight? That's all right with the board.
Well, we got 17 minutes, we can get as much
Well,
done.
you got one, we can get one in. Didn't you say the first one
We'll
wouldn't take?
we'll have to come back and go back into closed meeting.
That'd be one
What do you suggest?
That's up to the board. I mean, we can try and get as much done as we can.
Right,
Up to the board.
yeah,
I don't mind an extra motion, can we get much
All right.
done?
right.
I entertain a motion to go in closed meeting and
Let Mr. Tadlock read his reasons first.
I would need a motion for the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors to convene a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.23711A1 for the discussion and consideration of personnel matters. A3 for the discussion for consideration of potential acquisition of real property for public purpose or the potential disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in open meeting would adversely affect county, the county's bargaining position or negotiating strategy. Section 2.2, 3711A8 for consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to legal matters requiring the consultation with legal counsel. Section 2.2, 3711A29, discussion of the award of public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers and discussion of the terms and scope of such contract, for a discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. 2.2, 3711A4 for the protection of the privacy of individuals in personal matters not related to public business. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator, county attorney, because they are, and the assistant county administrator, because they are deemed necessary and their presence will reasonably aid the board in consideration of topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA Section 2.2, 3712F.
So move, what do you think?
All right, we have a motion, have a second? Second, all right, we have a motion, and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, we will go into the next courtroom. Y'all are welcome to stay here, and we'll be back for our 7 o'clock evening meeting here, hopefully. Call this meeting back to order. I need a motion to come out of closed meeting.
So move. Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion that we did not discuss anything that we were not supposed to.
You want me to read the
Yes, sir.
statement? Need a motion that the Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
I move what Mr. Tadlock did.
All right. Got a motion, have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, now roll call vote. Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Brand?
Aye.
Mr. Tomlin?
Aye.
Mr. Jett?
Aye.
Mr. Haney? Aye. All right. Now, board want to take action now on anything now, or you want to wait until after our public hearing?
I said, let's go ahead and take the,
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
we need a motion on it. For one, I move that we go with, Drayden, Hayden Associates on the contract that they submitted to us. Second.
All right. We have a motion to second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Next item. Or if anything.
Move we go with Sole Source to join them. Second. Sourcewell.
Sourcewell.
What, Sourcewell is the name, okay. I move we go with Sourcewell.
All right, we got a motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we, purchase the, software program that will allow us to track the work within the county and the work orders as discussed.
Which version?
Mr. Tadlock, what was the,
Enterprise?
Yes,
The enterprise would cover more.
Yes.
If that's the one.
go with the enterprise.
Second.
All right. Motion second. All right. So a motion second. All those in favor say aye. All right. Have anything else? All right. We have nothing else. Y'all want to do your public comments now, or you do them at the end?
We changed the bylaws to do it now.
All right.
They used to change it
We
one
are-
meeting, and
but
go
we
change
are-
it another way.
But we are 7:20.
But let it 20 minutes late than however
All right.
long after the public hearing.
All right. All right, our next item on the agenda is the public comment period. Anyone would like to make a comment on anything? Please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Hit it, Bill.
Good evening, I'm back. I appreciate Mr. Gregory's reading of the code that I cited the last time I was here. And also appreciate the sentiment that I should go to the school board and request the information. If any of us could get the information from the school board for the past 5 years, this would be a non-issue. There would be no discussion because all of the information that everyone has requested for the past 5 years would be available. And as Mr. Brand said, we haven't even received a balance sheet. I've continued my research into school boards, and since this is school board season across the state, I went to the Virginia State Composite Index and found a school board or school district that was very close to our composite index, just so that things would be as equal as they could be in my head. And what I found was that Fairfax County actually has a composite index that's a 0.04 difference from the Northumberland County composite index. It's a much larger system. Their total budget is $3.3 billion a year. They educate 180,000 students a year for $16,600 a year. They're part of a Washington area boards of education consortium, which includes Montgomery County, Fairfax County, Alexandria, Loudoun, and Manassas City. With the exception of Arlington County and Falls Church City, they all educate their students for less than $19,000 a year. It's very interesting to me, and I imagine that with a $3.3 billion budget that people are very interested in where all that money is being spent. Fairfax County does a quarterly review of their budget with their school board, and the results of those quarterly reviews are published. The one that I found very interesting was from the mid-year review of this current fiscal year, where ESSER grants and CARES grants were figured into the budget, and the budget committee found available funding of $1.2 million, which they then went to the Board of Supervisors and said, can we move this into the 2023 school year as a beginning balance? And obviously the Board of Supervisors said yes. But it brought up an interesting question to me, which is if these monies are not spent and the monies are sitting somewhere, they've been allocated, do we have an overage? Do we have a surplus? If we do have a surplus, how much? We don't know because we've never seen a single disbursement. And I think it's very important to remember that as things go down the line, you know, we're looking at $1.2 million or $1.5 million or whatever for new buildings and whatever. We don't know if there's a surplus. We don't know if there's, we just don't know. And as citizens, we want to know. We want to see the detail. We want to see the line items. We want to see where those contracts are with. When the budget says fees, who are the fees paid to? What groups are they paid to? What groups are those groups affiliated with? We don't know the answers to that, then we should have a say in it. And I'm not saying we like this, but we should have input into those expenditures. The one thing that I would sort of spurred something in my head, when the school board asks for 5 new positions, I think 2 were in the $75,000 range, 1 was in the $90,000 range. Fairfax County Public Schools publishes not just the expected salary, but the total cost of an employee. And since it's a Virginia group and they carry the Virginia Retirees Health, I just used their numbers as an example. But a hypothetical teacher in Fairfax County hired at $65,000 a year, once you add all the cash and prizes, their actual cost, salary and benefits, is $102,000. So before you as the Board of Supervisors approve 5 new positions, please consider the cost, not just of the salary, but ask for the cost of the total cost, including benefits as well. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys get what you want.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment on anything?
Mr. Chairman. Picking up where Mr. Brand and his frustration ended up.
State your name, please.
I'm sorry, I'm Patrick O'Brien. I saw a memo from the Director of Finance for Northumberland County Public Schools that spoke of building a school board STEM ROTC building for $1,871,000 and change that was going to come entirely from ESSER 3 funds. Shortly thereafter, they published a expenditure recapitulation, and the only possible category this could have come out of was instruction, because everything else is less than $1,870,000. So I have no idea what's going on, but it gets better, because you then go to the line item that I think Mr. Brand was referring to. And in there, second to last page, is what appears to be a budget request for an additional $1.5 million for that same project. Now, is that going to be in addition to the ESSER 3 money, which brings us up to what, $3 million and something? Or has the price of construction and materials gone down since these were done? I have no idea what to tell you, really. And finally, bring it all back. We had a CIP meeting about a year ago when I was informed in response to a direct question from the superintendent. Because at that time, they were talking about $2.6 million, I believe, for the school board building. If that was now off the table, and she said yes, it was. Since apparently rolled back down again. But we cannot tell what this costs. We can't tell who's being paid to. We can't tell what fees are involved. And I don't know if it's possible for this board to actually put together a budget when the numbers are all over the map. I'm frustrated by it. I can see vastly more so. They now have a director of finance, Jason Bellows, who has a full-time assistant. And I don't see any reason in the world why this county cannot have the same budget reporting that is first of all required by statute. And secondly, it's significantly less than what they're doing in other counties in the state, like Fairfax County. This Board of Supervisors is, by statute, the superintendent of the school board and the school division, which is in the same series of statutes as the recreation or one. The school board has to provide this Board of Supervisors with any information they request, in whatever form they request, again by statute. And if they fail to do so, this Board of Supervisors, like every other one in the state, has the right to subpoena them. I don't know what's going on. There's no way for the taxpayers in this town to figure out what they're paying for or where the money's coming from. People are getting very upset about this. So I leave this up to you, but based on what I've seen, none of this makes any sense. And it looks like either a massive amount of fiscal waste or somebody deliberately trying to keep the real numbers away from you. And I wish you'd consider that.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Karen Cridlin, and I'm here tonight representing a group of 29 homeowners in District 5 with property in Chesapeake Beach Estates and along Chesapeake Beach Road fronting the bay. In fact, some of my neighbors are here with me tonight in support of this conversation. The 2022 combined total assessed value of these 29 properties in note is over 10.5 million, generating income to the county of over 65,000. The reason we're here tonight is to request the board's approval that allows Northumberland County to apply for a grant that would provide funding for a study for the protection of the shoreline in the county. The grant is offered through the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation. We'll provide more details in a full packet that we're going to send to you probably tomorrow morning that will include some of the additional detail that I'm going to go over shortly. So to give you an idea of our situation and some background, as property owners, we've long been concerned with increased storm surges, property damage, and land erosion. Looking back, there's been significant property loss in this specific area, including 17 lots in Chesapeake Beach Estates that have completely washed away, close to 70 feet of land and beach at 36 Beach Road that is underwater, and other bayfront properties have also suffered that kind of loss. And due to recent storms, not catastrophic ones like Isabel, but just recent northeasters, we've had some significant shore erosion along our neighbors' properties, and one leaving just 20 feet to the front door of a house. We will provide details and photos of this erosion in the packet that we're going to send to you. If no action is taken, this area and others around the Bay region are on a path of substantial loss, which will impact homeowners directly and the county indirectly, with a loss of taxes collected, as well as the reputation for this county to be a great place to live and own real estate. Of note, this shoreline erosion impact goes beyond just the 29 owners, as over 120 homes in Chesapeake Beach Estates utilize and rely on the community beach area that is also included in the erosion risk path. In a recent published study in the Washington Spectre done by the Joint Research Center, Northumberland County was ranked 20th in the United States for shoreline erosion and sand loss. I was absolutely shocked when I saw that statistic. There are a few other communities in Virginia that are actually ranked higher: Poquoson, the city of Poquoson, and the county of Accomack, which Tangier is also associated with. But to have this county that high in a list of 237 areas in the country studied in 17 different states was just shocking. In the past, individual homeowners all along this region that I'm addressing have attempted new approaches to address shore loss. We have jetties, we've had seawalls, but in 2010, there was a request for an application and a permit that was denied by the Virginia Marine Resource Commission based on the fact that they assumed, or they established, that we had healthy groin farm availability in the area and the type of hexagonal concrete breakwater that was proposed was new. It had not been used out on the bay. Since then, recurrent storm damage, difficulty in procuring waterfront contractors to come in and repair or establish new break fronts, we no longer have a healthy groin farm. And so our properties are all at risk. Our goal is to identify evolving methods to address erosion. This leads us to believe that the current mitigation proposal and this grant program would be something that would produce a new approach and potentially be approved. So there is funding available for this type of research. An option that we have found is the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation, in cooperation with the Virginia Resource Authority, is administering a program and receives applications for community flood preparedness fund grants. The fund was established in 2020 to provide support for regions and localities across Virginia to reduce the impacts of flooding and storm surge. Awards have been made to towns, cities, and counties for various projects and studies. And this is where we need your representation. We are requesting, again, that the county apply for this grant funding to commission a study for the recurring types of damage in the area and best practice mitigation projects related to not only sea level rise projections, but delineations of area storm surge vulnerability and other proposals that may significantly improve protection from flooding on a regional basis. The time frame is short. The next application is due August 5th of this year. It's the 4th round, and we don't have any information whether there'll be a 5th round. So we're under the gun to get this application grant process done. If the application is approved, there's a percentage match requirement for the cost of the study between 10 and 50%, and the grant funds will be distributed quarterly on a requested basis. In conclusion, we have a group of landowners committed to protecting our properties and the county's financial interest. In the past years, again, of the 29 owners noted, including the Chesapeake Beach Association, 28 have individually spent over $906,000, combined with another $266,000 quoted for pending necessary shoreline repairs. Details on that are in the packet by specific real estate pieces. So again, just in thanking you for your time, the application time frame is tight. Our group is motivated. We can offer assistance for research. We've done quite a bit. There's been a lot of participation within this group represented here tonight. We are happy to help draft recommendation for submittal due date, and we appreciate you listening to our appeal. We'll get an information packet to you very quickly.
All right, would you contact Mr. Padlock right now?
Yes, we've been in contact with parts of our group, but we will get you a formal packet, very shortly. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Say just as soon as how long before you think your formal packet will be ready?
It's ready. We've got.
We have a paper copy right here, but we'll electronically send it to you
So matter of a few days, you could have. it.
Yes,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
And
Okay,
then
would you like
get a
to,
formal packet, get Stuart, maybe Philip, or whoever needs to go down there and meet these people so we can move forward with this grant. Get Stuart and Philip, go down and take a look at what they're talking about.
Sure, we'll get the packet and take a look at it and then get staff
Can we leave you with this tonight? Okay? Thank you.
Will you have a group stand? You have the group stand?
The county part of the all hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah, we are. It's the regional
Yes.
hazardous mitigation.
That would be a good document for them to also reference to, the all hazard mitigation plan, the regional plan, and to help assist them with this as well. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else like to speak?
You go ahead first, buddy. Go ahead. No. Jim Michelle, I'm a resident here in the county. I know most of you. Actually, I know all of you. You know me too. I want to thank Mr. Gregory for getting that information also. A little bit of things came to light to me tonight. One of the things that started us off about a year ago was, and I'm going to paraphrase what was said, was the school board telling the Board of Supervisors they don't work for you. I remember that in the newspaper. One of the things I heard Mr. Gregory say tonight is that if you ask for information and whatnot, they are required to give it to you. You have the power of the purse. You have all the power of the purse. They can give you broad brush, big picture budgets, or you can request line item, line by line type budgets like you see, and we have seen in looking at some of the information we found in other school districts. That's totally up to you guys. What they need to understand is that you are entitled, and I think you said that tonight, if the Board of Supervisors requests the information, the school board needs to give it to them. That's what that said. Because you have the power of the purse. What I'm asking you guys to do is request it that way. You know, I heard a couple of things earlier on about other issues. Mr. Brand had one, like a ladder for $20,000. Maybe if the request came down from you saying we want these line items in actual dollar amounts, he would find out that that was $14,681.12 or something. Who the hell knows? But that's what you're asking about. That's what we need. We as citizens, you know, we see the school enrollment going down because, you know, a lot more retired people come here, fixed income, or whatever. But the school budget keeps going up. And when questions are asked, we don't get the answers. You don't get the answers. I mean, that's what triggered this a year ago, was when that article came out. So what do you mean they don't work for them? They do work for them. They're elected by us, as you are, and they work for you. You have the power of the purse. Whoever changed that? And I thank you again, Mr. Gregory, for getting that information out, because I think you answered the question that was asked a year ago, tonight, very clearly. So guys, all I'm saying is, and I only say guys because there's only guys on the board. Guys, ask for the line item. We have now as Patrick said, 2 full-time people on the school board to prepare budgets, to give us information. But it seems like, and I was on the board, as you know, for a short period, we get less information. And we used to have to do it ourselves and put it together for the board at that time. We have these people, let's utilize them. I think what we have to be careful of is how we request the information. So I'm asking you, please, be more specific on how we request the budget to be put forward so that we can ask you the questions and you can give us the answers, and so can they. And like you said to Lynn about going to the school board, she's right, you can't get any information over there. They won't answer. They won't answer you. What do you think they're going to answer us? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make any comments?
I'm Joe Newsom. Mr. Chairman, bear with me, I'm no public speaker. You might have to help me with what I want to say. I'm speaking on my personal self and the farmers in Northumberland County. We have a problem with the realtors in this county, a big problem. This land is being sold, farmland is being sold every day. And most of the farmers, me personally, you have a written contract on this land for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And most of it, even after the first year, it's a rural thing. If neither one don't complain before the 1st of September, you just automatically work it the following year. Well, me personally, I've had 5 parcels sold in the last 9 months. And I've had to dig up and scrounge around to try to find out who purchased it so I can know where I can continue working. Even though I have a lease saying I can work it, the realtor will not tell the purchaser who farmed it. They won't tell me who bought it. They won't tell the guy that bought it who ran it. So he just a roundabout circle all the way around. So I've been through this last 2 weeks personally. I contacted the realtor. My associate sold it. I said, well, give me his name so I can contact him. Oh, I can't give you his name. I said, well, give me the buyer's name. Oh, I can't do that neither. I said, damn, we ain't got a problem. If you won't give me the name of the man that bought it, how am I supposed to contact the man so I can keep working it? Or he knows that I do work it. So after a roundabout way, we won't say the choice words, he finally agreed to give me the name of the purchaser. So I called that gentleman. I got chewed out because he didn't want nobody to know he bought it. I said, well, I'm sorry, go back to your realtor. I said, we got a problem. I said, I got a lease that says I got the right to work it this year, and you got a contract on it that you don't even take possession until May the 20th, and yet you don't want me to farm it. I said, I've already put fertilizer on hay land. I've already bought seed beans for the bean land, so we got a problem. I said, I'm not taking it on you, nothing personal, don't want no hard feelings. But I said, you better contact your realtor and work it out. So the gentleman called me back. He said, we need to meet Monday or Sunday, went in a Sunday room. And we met, and I told him, I said, sir, no hard feelings again, but I'm planning on booth holding the corn stalks Thursday. You ready for early? He told me, no, you better not do that. I said, well, sir, I got a written lease that says I'm working and I'm working. So needless to say, that ain't gonna work. But it finally ended up, the realtor finally called me yesterday and met with me. We got it worked out. But y'all didn't make an amendment or some kind of regulation. And I think by law, don't they have to tell the person that somebody has a lease on it, farm it? I mean, that's what we need. We need something done so these realtors they get the gravy and run. And I had to take a beating on my part of the income this year to keep on farming it. And it's not right. I mean, they get the commission and gone, and we hung up with the headaches trying to find out who's bought it and so forth and so on. So something needs to be done with that. If you want to ask me anything, I'll try to answer you.
So
Everything we can, anything
you
you
know,
have.
if you're told not to farm that land, and you put fertilizer on it, you lost it.
You lost out. But it's a gentleman's word, a farmer's word, that you're supposed to be notified by the 1st of September every year. If you don't, you just automatically work it the previous year. And in my case, we got a written contract. And if I don't hear nothing by the 1st, well, mine says 1st September, all are written, that you continue to work it. But the realtor don't want to honor that. They just, and I'll tell you another story on this one. The guy met with me, so I met with him Sunday. He asked me, and you probably know where the land is. I know Richard does, Mr. Haney. He asked me, he says, where is the waterfront property this piece of land joins? I said, waterfront property? He said, yes. Said the realtor, the one that sold it is over to Charlottesville now. I'm getting hit myself a little bit. He said, the realtor told me this property is joining the water. Well, you know what water it was joining? Boucher's Mill Swamp. Swamp, not a river, as the man said. And I tried to tell him, I said, don't take it on me, buddy, but only thing you can get in there is a canoe for 4 miles, then you might be able to get in a boat. But that's wrong. That's misleading any way you put it. So y'all, somebody needs to kind of do something about this. And I said, I ain't the only one. I'm just speaking for me and 2 of them personally. But it's a big problem, a whole lot of problem. I thank y'all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. All right, anyone else like to comment?
I would ask Mr. Gregory to check into what, if anything, we as a county can do. I doubt we have anything, but just to find out. I know there's some avenues that could be explored, and that's one, the General Assembly, possibly look into something, because, and then if you got a contract, that's a legal, which is nothing the county get involved with, but.
Well, that's the trouble, it costs us money to hire lawyers to do the
Well, I'm saying that.
We eliminated right from the start, if they would honor the farmer's contract on the property. And they don't want to see that, they just want that grade and wrong.
Have you talked to Farm Bureau about this?
No.
You may want to talk to them, and they could possibly talk to the legislator. Because there's contract rights, property rights, there's a lot of fighting things, but if you have a signed legal, a written contract, oral is a little bit different. But, there is.
Yeah, but my case, most of mine have been written for one place 40 years. And after the first 3 years, nobody don't complain about it. So the company just continue on.
And then there might be some issues with disclosures or non-disclosures by real estate agents, which might be another area of concern.
Well, see, I think that's one of the main problems. They can't tell you this, one can't tell you, but they should this if somebody got a contract on. Common sense all the time, somebody works.
Well, if the real estate company person knows there is a contract, whether a failure to disclose is an issue, I won't answer that question by a long shot, but there might be some concerns there. Yes, sir.
I can't provide legal advice to this gentleman. I certainly understand, appreciate his concerns. The land records and of course are on record with the circuit court clerk's office. So anyone can go in there and look and see see the land purchase and acquisition transactions that have occurred in the county. So anybody can go in there and look at that information and find out who purchased what. Now, it could be clouded by the name of a corporation or something like that. It doesn't contain contact information for them.
But in this particular case, he's not even going to sign on it until May the 22nd.
Yeah, so, and if you have a lease on a property, a leaseholder may record the lease with those same land records so that it is a matter of public record that all have a legal interest in that property. I'm not sure if that would resolve the issue, but the county's legal authority to do anything that concerns a private dispute or a civil legal dispute between two people or two entities
I don't see any zoning scenarios.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Mandel DeWitt Jackson, born and raised in Newman's Neck. My wife from Sunnybank. We moved to Maryland, and now we're retired and we're back home. Most of y'all on the board don't know who I am. Mr. Long know me and Mr. Haney know me. Miss Sally could not be here today, so I'm speaking on her behalf, and you know what's going on down Rose Landing. The house, adjacent to the house that had that trash is my cousin from New Jersey. And since I retired and moved back home, I am, guess you would say, the caretaker. So numerous times when I come to the meeting, we had met with somebody, she had met with somebody. So the bottom line is, they got a dumpster on the property. I go through it and looked at and checked the house out. They got a full-size Silverado Chevrolet pickup truck loaded down. I don't know how many of y'all rode up and look at it. Trash falling everywhere. Here's the deal. Summertime is coming again. You got raccoons, rats, and whatever. And she was patient, so my cousin asked me if you could come to the meeting. I said, yeah, I'll come to the meeting all the time. I had to come back from town. So what's the deal? What's going on with that property? When is that trash going to be removed, or what's up with that?
Martin, have you been down there?
I have. I actually went back by there today. Unfortunately, social services has gotten involved along with the building official as far as conditions inside the home as well as outside. So I had to take a step back while the building official and social services worked together.
Where is this at now?
Rose Landing.
Huh?
Rose Landing.
The one that lady was in is the same place.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's gonna happen?
Good, yeah. Right now, the building official and social services are working together to have a meeting at the home to see from what I understand about possibly either relocating the individuals from outside of the home. I think there's more going on than just the trash outside the home.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried what's going on inside the house. I'm worried about the trash inside the house. So, you know, let me back up. What's your next step? A social service involved, right? How long that process is gonna be?
I would have to ask the building official, who is not here, on his steps that he's taken with social services, in regards to what's gonna be done with the home altogether.
Okay, you know, like I said, I born and raised here, farmed here for years, moved away to Maryland. So what's the time frame? What is the county's, what I'm trying to say, what is the county time frame of doing something like that? I mean, let's be honest. If that was in another part of the county, it'd been gone next day. I'm just keeping it like it is. If that was in another part of the county, that truck and all that trash be gone the next day. You know it and I know it. I worked around here for 2.5 years. I work with VDOT now. I see things, that's good. So you know if that was in another part of the county, it wouldn't been there. So why is it there now? And why is it taking so long?
Personally, I can't answer your question in regards to what that time frame is. I know Mrs. Conley has my contact information where she can certainly speak with the building official in regards to what's going on with the parcel. That's what I would encourage her to do, because I don't know the answer to that question once it got above me.
Does the dumpster belong to a contract?
Yeah, it does.
Social services did not put the dumpster there.
So social services put the dumpster?
Did not.
Did not. So an individual put that dumpster there?
That I am uncertain of.
Because it can at least come back if you don't.
No, the dumpster's not full.
It's not full.
They're not using the dumpster. That's what's puzzling me. The dumpster's empty. I use the same company from Westmoreland County. There's nothing in the dumpster, but the pickup truck is running over. So I'm trying to figure, you got a dumpster on your property. You go pay the man. I know how I got the same dumpster for her, but you're not utilizing the dumpster, but you got a truck full of trash. So I'm not the smartest person in the world, but seeing that don't make sense to me. Seeing that the county said, hey, look, we're gonna take the stuff with the truck, put it in the dumpster, call the company to come get the dumpster and haul it away. That's a simple fix. But you got a dumpster sitting on the property, not being utilized. I mean,
Are the people capable of?
they ain't capable of doing, okay, slow down, let me slow my roll. No, Mr. Long, they're not. But I think last month, a month or less, somebody talked to Miss Sally, and they're getting a committee together. I don't know what's going on, a little pickup committee. I don't know who that person was. I didn't get the names. I don't know if they're here or not. And they're gonna go over there and take the trash. So whatever the county get together, a little pickup crew to go around, that's what they're gonna do. Okay,
We have a anti-litter committee.
yes.
Each of us have a person from our district, but I don't know if they go in a person's yard and pick up, or they pick up along the road. Is that right, Buster?
No, that particular committee is not asked to go
Right.
to individuals'
Right.
properties. This is more along.
Yeah, but when the guy was telling Sally that, and I listened to what he was saying, and I'm, got a little bit of sense. I said, yeah, you can pick up on the roadside, but you're not going over the property. But I didn't say nothing because, like I said, I don't know the rules in the county yet. I'm learning. But he said that we got a committee, we're gonna look into it. I said, yeah, but you're gonna do the roadside on the state right away, but you're not going to somebody's personal property to give permission. So we're back to square one again. So my thing is today is this April. Know how this gonna play out. So next month, somebody could be able to tell me something so I can tell the owner of the property that I'm overseeing what's gonna happen. Is that correct? I get benefit of the doubt.
And I would certainly encourage you to contact the building official with building and zoning. Because in this particular place, there are mental health issues that are coming into place more than that are taking precedent right now over the trash.
But I agree with what, he's saying. You know, it needs to be taken care of. I don't care where it's located. You know, I don't think any of us would like that to take place in our neighborhood. And we're supposed to be looking out for the county. So this needs to be taken care of. We need to find a way for this problem to be taken care of. It's simple, man.
I mean, Miss Sally, she's a, you know, being respected, she's an elderly lady. And I told her, I'm back home now. I don't mind getting my hand dirty. I don't mind a fight. So I'm back home. So I let her handle it. And I talked to the owner of the property that I'm looking after. And she just said, point blank, do you mind taking over? I take over. I want answers. And I will get answers. One way or another.
Philip, I don't know what we need to do, but it needs to be taken care of.
Because I'm sorry y'all keep it 100. I know that was another part of this county that been gone and it been gone that same day. Trust me, I know. I'm born and raised here. I know the deal. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but I tell you like I shoot from the hip. But we all can get along. We just work together. I don't mind working. Hell, I go over there and get a load or something and haul it and get a rollback and haul the thing on myself. But I can't go on nobody's property. And you know that's against the law. I pay somebody to get a rollback and haul the pickup truck, load of trash out there. Half will fall over down the road. Now I'll be ending up picking it up from VDOT. So no win situation for me. But you know I can't go on my property. You know that. And I'll be in jail next day. But just to help the person know, you know. So anyhow, I'll tell Mr. Allen, I'll get back to my cousin with the information and hope and pray by next month, somebody can tell us something. Thank you.
Hope so. Thank you.
Mr. Tadlock, we have the ordinance dealing with removal of garbage when it impacts public health. Clearly, that seems like it applies here. You have to give them notice, but if there is a mental health issue, they might receive something but not know what it is.
You got your public health issues next door.
I understand that, but for the county to remove it, there has to be notice, which would give us potential right of entry.
Right.
At their cost, but then you've got a notice issue of mental health, I don't know. I mean, there is that step, there is the ordinance which we clearly have passed and used in the past. And it is a time-consuming ordinance, we know that.
You do have to provide a certain amount of notice and different things. In the past, we have done that by certified return receipt mail.
Yeah, that's what I get ready to say. We have had a problem similar, and the county stepped in after giving the owners a certain amount of time.
If you got somebody who's we're not sure of their mental status, then you get a question of notice and all like that.
Well, social services involved, right, Philip?
That's correct. Social services right now is involved with the building official in regards to the condition of the home.
So, have you talked, Lutcher talked to social service? What's going on? I mean, are they making progress, or how can we get involved where we can get that mess cleaned up?
I would need to talk to the building official to get updated as to where he's at on that particular. I'll talk to him tomorrow and see where we're at on that.
That's good.
All right, anyone else like to make any comments? All right. Anybody in the virtual world like to make any comments? No one in the virtual world would like to make any comments? Now, we'll close the public comment period and open these public hearings. The first item is proposed ordinance to consider designation of Friends of Northumberland County Animal Shelter as a tax exempt, and I think that's Mr. Tadlock.
Yes, sir. Just to follow up with that, I guess the only other thing that I would add is the assessed value of the property being considered for the tax exemption is listed at $212,400 is the assessed value. So the current real estate tax is $1,295.64. There is no personal property tied to this request.
All right. Board members having comment? No comment? All right. Oh, let's see, we need to open this, all right?
Yep.
I'll open the public hearing on this. Anyone here would like to speak tonight on this? Anyone like to speak on this? Anyone in the virtual world like to speak on this? All right, I'll close the public hearing. The matter is before the board.
Do you have anybody who may speak opposed to this? Or speak about it here?
Speak about it. Nobody's
All right.
said anything. Speak for or against. All right, close the public hearing. The matter is before the board.
We haven't, I mean, our practice has been if no applicant or someone comes to speak on behalf, we
I know.
continue it,
Right.
regardless of how valuable it is. That's just fair for ourselves. Okay, you didn't, when Mr. Haney said something.
I know, but I didn't think that I needed to make any comments.
Okay. You're here, we want to make sure,
Yeah, no, we're definitely here.
okay. In case anybody had questions, that's good.
Mhm.
That's fine, just want to make sure.
Sorry.
That's no problem. Mr. Chairman, in light of having people here, I move that we approve this request. Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
The Friends of the Animals, or the various names they've gone under before, have more than contributed this amount of money back to the county animal shelter. Because if anybody doesn't know, the animal shelter that exists right now was predominantly paid for by the Friends of the Animal or their prior. They are saving the county taxpayers more than this by multiple. So it's highly worthwhile a grant of exemption to the organization.
All right. Any other comments? If not, we have a motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, our next item on the list tonight is a request by Betty Shamberly, owner and Tamara Hall for application for conditional use permit to allow expansion of the campground for boat storage. And Mr. Morrison, you have this one. Any information you want to give us on to it first?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman, unless
you would
like to suggest a condition, Fred.
All right. Is anyone here representing the Chambly or Tamara Hall?
Yeah.
All right. Tamara Hall, I'm sorry.
Tamara.
Tamara Hall. All right, would you come on up and speak, please?
So we have a boat storage facility or lot within the campground grounds that we also use with Smith Point Marina for the boat dock that he has and the ramp. We are running out of space. Right now, the campground only has 3 open lots out of 134. And so most of those people also have boats. So we're running out of space. the land that we want to use had been previously designated as farmland. And then once my father passed, we kind of changed that because we wanted it more open, and we've kept the lot clean and the grass cut. And there's a section that is in the corner that doesn't obstruct the water view that we want to use for the extension of the boat storage. We have met with the local lot owners, a couple of them, and had answered their questions directly. Any questions?
Do board members have any questions for
Tamara,
Tamara?
you're from the upper end of the county, down county, we know how to pronounce it.
I gotta get my glasses redone.
I can't help you with that.
Yeah, it's still all squiggly. I'm sorry, that's all.
That's fine.
I know it's Tamara, when I get in close enough to it, I can see it.
All right, any board members have any questions for Ms. Hall? All right, no one has any questions for you,
No.
so,
Just call Ms. Hall to be safe.
He didn't think of that.
I
Thank
did.
you.
All right. All right. Now I'll open the public hearing on this. Anyone like to speak? I have a sign-up sheet here. It's Wayne Corey.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Corey. I live at 991 Smith Point Road. My property and our home form our south border and the north border to the campground's adjacent property. We've met with Tamara and her team, and through emails and so forth. We've come upon an agreement that I think she's detailed in her application that includes constructing a privacy fence, putting up lighting, as well as shrubbery to help shield the view of the storage facility. And as long as those conditions are met and carried out, then we're comfortable with that. The only other question that we have that is a new one that hasn't been addressed is that in the future, if the campground needs to expand the parking and storage facility, does that fall under the current CUP application, or would a new action be necessary? Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, the next person who signed up is Greg Hull.
Good evening. My name is Greg Hull. My wife and I live at 27 Marina Point Road. Although the property that we're on doesn't adjoin the campground lot, we are within line of sight of the said lot. Generally speaking, we're very supportive of this land use application, but we do have a couple of concerns that I'd like to note. One concern is the possible migration from boat storage to derelict boat junkyard storage, or from boat storage to camper trailer expansion. The second concern we have pertains to the security lights that will be placed on the lot. Our community enjoys wonderful night skies without any light pollution. So I hope that whatever lighting is installed is assessed and adjusted so as not to impact the neighborhood. As I've noted, while we have these couple of concerns, we're otherwise supportive of the application, and we'd also like to commend the campground management on the care and attention that they put into upgrading the appearance of the campground over the recent years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next person to speak is Mark Joyner.
Thank you. It's great being third in line because I can probably pretty much just say ditto of what my two neighbors said, Mark Joyner, and we're at 9 Marina Point, which is the northeasterly corner of the mentioned property for the conditional use permit. And I would echo what my neighbors said. Our concerns are the same and our compliments are the same. The campground has a wonderful fence and even some landscaping and decoration along the fence now. And if that continues with the conditional use permit, with the new parcel they're looking to expand to, that would be fantastic. And so I'll just echo their comments as well and not take up any more time. Thank you all.
Thank you, Drew. All right, no one else has signed up on the sheet to speak. Anyone else like to speak on this public hearing? No one else like to speak? All right, anybody in the virtual world like to speak? Anybody in the virtual world would like to speak on this public issue? No one? All right. All right, since no one wants to speak, close the public hearing. Matters before the board, but I'd like Mr. Marston to read the conditions.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Suggested conditions, if approved, are that all required permits and/or licenses shall be obtained from all appropriate regulatory agencies. Along with shadow fencing on the northern side of the parking area, shrubbery shall be established around the perimeter of the property for screening purposes as described in the application. All exterior lighting shall be non-reflective and directed downward. This expansion approval is for boat storage for current campground renters and overflow parking from the use of the boat ramp. This approval does not include any additional campground sites or the storage of campers. This boat storage area shall be limited to 110 feet by 180 feet.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marston.
Mr. Chairman, I move we grant this request for the suggested conditions. I believe the conditions pretty much address y'all's concerns, Wayne, and all the other two. I think y'all satisfied with those conditions that address your concerns.
With the exception of any potential future expansion.
That's covered.
I believe that the dimensions.
You come on up here and wait down there.
I believe that Mr. Marston, quoted the 110 versus 180 feet, that is the area that we've marked off. So it's only including that area and the road in.
Mr. Chairman, the way that's worded would just include that one particular area. If there was any type of expansion, it would have to come back for.
Right. And
another
that's fine.
public hearing. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Tadlock.
All right, that's a motion. Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Your request is granted.
Thank you.
All right, our next public hearing tonight is request by Ranbeck for a existing marina for the expansion of a existing marina. Is anybody here tonight to represent that? Come on up, Mr. Cockrell.
Ranbeck is here.
My name is Randy Cocker. I'm president of Tiffany Yachts. Ranbeck happens to be a LLC that we have, but it's Tiffany Yachts' project. Our travel lift piers are 30 years old, and they need to be replaced. What we're asking is we could use the existing ones while we were putting in the new ones, and we wouldn't have to shut down. That's very important to us. That's the whole deal.
Any board members have any more questions? Have any questions for Mr. Cockrell? All right, Cockrell?
You did?
Thank you, and
Okay.
the board has any questions, we'll call you again. All right. I'll open the public hearing on this. Anyone like to speak on this? Only one I have signed up is Randy Cockrell. So, anyone like to speak on this issue?
Oh, boy.
No one would like to speak. All right, anyone in the virtual world like to speak? No one in the virtual world. All right. Well, I will close the public hearing and the matters before the board. And let's see, Mr. Marston, I think you have some conditions.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Suggested conditions if approved are that all required permits and/or licenses shall be obtained from all appropriate regulatory agencies, including but not limited to Virginia Marine Resources Commission. And the expansion shall be constructed as shown on the joint permit application.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve this request with conditions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would wholeheartedly endorse this. The Tiffany yacht has a name in the Northumberland County and the Chesapeake Bay. Want to do everything to keep your name and business in operation.
That's right.
All right, any other board member want to comment? If not, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Mr. Cockrell, your motion passes. All right, that's all of the public hearings tonight. So the next item is adjournment.
No.
We have a meeting. We will stay open.
I move that we continue this meeting until, or continue over till next Wednesday at 5:30.
Okay? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Thank everyone for coming tonight. And thank everyone in the virtual world for listening too. And we'll see you back on 4/20 at 5:30.
If you want to.
Huh?